Hi friends, today we are going to do fundamental analysis of SBI. SBI is a Fortune 500 company. It is the only Indian bank to be in the Fortune 500 list. SBI is the 43rd largest bank in the world and largest bank in India by its assets. SBI has 2,45,642 employees. It is the largest Indian bank with 25% market share and has 45.92 crore customers. SBI holds 23.29% market share with regards to deposits. Also, it has 29.23% market share with regards to debit card spendings. SBI has 50,77,446 crore as part of total government business turnover. This tells about the huge volume of government business done via SBI. As of today, in India, it has 22,219 branches, 62,617 ATMs in India. Outside India, it has 229 branches and spread in 31 countries. It has 37.09 million registered user base, 10 million daily logins and 40,000 overseas customers were onboarded via YONO platform. Hence, SBI is very large in size. Here is the shareholding pattern of SBI. SBI is a public sector company with government holding 57.6% of its shares. Shares are under the name of President of India like any other public sector enterprise. DII, that is Domestic Institutional Investors, hold nearly 24.3%, of which LIC alone holds 8.34% of the shares. FII, that is Foreign Institutional Investors, hold nearly 10.4% of the shares. While public, that is retail people, hold only some 7.8% of the shares. Here is the list of subsidiaries and joint ventures of SBI. They are SBI Life Insurance Limited, SBI Cards and Payment Services Limited, SBI General Insurance where SBI holds 70% of shares, S Bank where SBI holds 30% of shares, Andhra Pradesh Gramina Vikas Bank where SBI holds 35% of shares, Kaveri Gramina Bank. SBI has 49% share in CH Technologies. CH Technologies is a joint venture of TCS and SBI. Surprisingly, SBI has 30% share in Jio Payments Bank too. Here is the list of foreign subsidiaries, joint ventures and associates of SBI. SBI has 13 Central Board of Directors. Shri Dinesh Kumar Kara is the chairman of SBI. SBI has 4 MDs, 4 shareholder directors and 4 directors nominated by Government of India. Now let's go into the recent results of SBI and its key performance parameter. Before going into profit and loss statement, let's refresh some terms like interest income. It is the income generated through interest paid by borrowers. Bank's main job is to give loans. Whatever income that comes through interest paid by borrowers is called interest income. This is also called as bread and butter for banks. Non-interest income. Income generated through fees. Example, deposit and transaction fees, insufficient funds fees, annual fees, monthly account service charges, inactivity fees, check and deposit slip fees. Provisions. Funds that is set aside by a company to pay for anticipated future losses. Example, NPAs. Now let's analyze profit and loss for both quarter on quarter and year on year. Net interest income quarter on quarter has decreased by 1.6%. This decrease is purely because of the increase in interest expenses. But for year on year, it has increased by 6.5%. Non-interest income quarter on quarter has increased by 6%, which is a good sign. While year on year it has decreased by 6.20%, this is not encouraging. Net total income is flat. 0.001% increase for quarter on quarter, and for year on year net total income has increased by 3.4%. Operating expenses quarter on quarter has reduced by 2%, which is good, and for year on year it has increased by 0.5%, which is a negative thing. Pre-provision operating profit, that is profit taken into account without considering provisions, has increased 2.5% for quarter on quarter and 7% for year on year. Now comes the most important part, provisions and contingencies. It is the funds that is set aside by a company to pay for anticipated future losses like NPAs. Provisions and contingencies quarter on quarter has decreased 17% from last year. In Q3 financial year 2021, provisions were at 12,137 crores, and this year Q3 financial year 2022 provisions were 10,090 crores. Hence 17% decrease in provisions, which is a good positive sign on year basis. But on quarter basis, there is a 3.3 times increase in provisions this year compared to last quarter. Net profit quarter on quarter has increased 10.6%, and year on year it has increased by 62.3%. This quarter, the profit is at staggering 8,432 crores. SBI registered its highest quarterly net profit in this quarter, that is Q3 financial year 2022. On yearly basis, there is an 62.3% increase in profit since the provisions were less by 2,000 crores this quarter when compared to last year's same quarter. Now coming to balance sheet. Here we can see that balance sheet is growing at 11% increase year on year and 3% increase on quarter basis. Gross advances, that is loans, which gives bread and butter for banks, has 8.5% increase year on year and 5.3% increase on quarter basis. Loans are the assets for company. Deposits of banks, which is a liability, has increased 8.8% on year basis and 1% on quarter basis. This tells about more and more deposits are coming into banks via savings, current account and term deposits. Loan deposit ratio, that is credit deposit ratio, is at 69.2%. This means that bank gives 69 rupees loan for every 100 rupees deposits, and this is quite low when compared to private banks, which is 80 to 90% levels. Hence, SBI can have an aggressive approach with regards to loans. Now coming to deposits. Total deposits have increased 1% on quarter basis and 8.8% on year basis. Though this is an increase in liabilities, this increases banks' capacity to lend more loans. Also, the savings account deposits have increased by 1.4% on quarter basis and 10% on year basis. SBI provides lowest interest rates to savings account customer. Hence, cost of capital is very low and this is a big positive for the company. With regards to the deposit mix, CASA deposits, which means current account savings account deposits, stands at 54.3%, which is more than term deposits, which is at 45.7%. With regards to advances, that is loans, whole bank loans grew by 8.47% year on year. Domestic loans growth stood at 6.47% year on year. Personal loan grew at 14.57% year on year. Foreign office advances grew by 21.35% year on year. Home loan, which constitutes 24% of bank's domestic advances, has grown by 11.15% year on year in 2021. Auto loans have grown by 5.04% on year basis in 2021. Agricultural loans grew at 4% on year basis in 2021. SME loans grew at 5%. Hence, loan growth looks very strong. Net interest margin. It is the amount of money that a bank is earning on interest on loans compared to the amount it is paying in interest on deposits. Net interest margin of SBI stands at 3.4% for this quarter. Now coming to capital adequacy ratio. Capital adequacy ratio is the ratio of bank's capital to its risk. The Basel III norms have prescribed a capital adequacy ratio of 8%. In India, the Reserve Bank of India mandates the capital adequacy ratio for scheduled commercial banks to be 9%, and for public sector banks, the capital adequacy ratio to be maintained is 12%. A bank with a high capital adequacy ratio is deemed safe, healthy, and likely to fulfill its financial obligations. SBI has capital adequacy ratio of 14.17, which is a good value. Now coming to the asset quality, which is a very important parameter for banks. Gross NPA has fallen to 4.5% and net NPA has fallen to 1.34% this quarter, which indicates an improvement in asset quality. Only because of this improvement in asset quality, SBI reported highest quarterly profit this year. Slippages too has fallen to 2,334 crores compared to previous quarter, and the provision coverage ratio is at 88% this quarter. Now coming to valuation, current value of stock is 470.35, book value per share is 293.13. Price by book value is 1.61. It is slightly overvalued compared to its peers, that is public sector banks of the country. But this is acceptable given its strong fundamentals. SBI is one among the 12 stocks that form Bank Nifty. It has weightage of 11.78%, which is the third highest weightage in Bank Nifty. HDFC has highest weightage of 26.27% and ICICI Bank has weightage of 22.25% in Bank Nifty. This concludes the fundamental analysis of SBI. Hope this video on fundamental analysis of SBI is useful to you. Thank you.